Advice to a screenwriter working on their first screenplay and thinking they're going to sell it, move to Malibu. We had another guy in this chair that always used the word Malibu as like, sell it, Malibu, money comes. But that notion that that first screenplay is going to be it for them and launch them.
For the first bit of advice that I have is you're not going to sell it. A first script is a learning script. I was teaching class yesterday and I told the writers, if you're pitching a script that is your first script, don't ever say, this is my first script. Because the minute that we hear, people like me hear, this is my first script, we know this is your learning script. You're going to learn how to write on your first, second, third script. By the fourth script, you're going to get kind of good. By the fifth script, you'll really have a handle on your voice. So there is no selling that first script. I literally don't know anybody, literally, who sold their first script in recent years. I mean, granted, last night I interviewed Scott Alexander and Larry Kurzowski, who wrote Ed Wood, Larry Flint, Man in the Moon, and they did manage to sell their first script, but this was in 1980 something. And they said in the room, this is clearly not the way that it's done. So in all likelihood, odds are you're not going to sell your first. You got to love it. You got to put your heart into it. But you have to understand that this is an intellectual exercise in learning how to write screenplays. You really do have to see it as your training piece. So if you have 5 ideas and one you love and it's the one that you think is going to make you $1 million, hold that back. Work on your skill before you invested in it, because oftentimes I'll talk to my writers who are newer writers and we'll talk about where a script is at, and they will say to me, I think I brought it as far as I can bring it skill-wise at this point. I need to set it aside. If I wanted to go further, I need to revisit it in a year or 2 years when I've worked on other stuff, which is the right assumption. What a writer should expect is that it's going to take 3 to 10 years to break into the entertainment industry. That's what it takes. This is what we see day in and day out. It is hardly ever done in shorter spurts. I know somebody watching this will go, well, I'm the one who's going to do it, and more power to you. But this is just the general expectations. I have both clients and friends who are breaking in all the time, every day. They're all working at it for years, and that's okay. This is what it takes. This is how it works. In all likelihood, you're not selling your first. If your first can get you some exposure, fantastic. But we are in an industry where right now, we're in the beginning of September, we sold 43 specs this year. That's an abysmal number. So we're not selling a lot of product right now. It's going to change. We're going to sell more. But the likelihood of selling a script in a market where roughly 80,000 scripts are getting registered a year with the WGA and 41 or 43 are selling within 8-9 months, not high. You just have to run the numbers. It is a lottery.
So save that passion project, because I've heard a lot of people here today that want to write about something that happened to them when they were younger or whatever, and they're very close to the material. Maybe that one that they think is going to change everything that's very personal to them, hold back on that, you're saying. Work on 5 or 6 others that maybe aren't as...
Perfect your script. You become a better writer. This is a skill-based craft. Your skill gets stronger and stronger, your muscle gets stronger and stronger the more you write. So you do have to keep writing and perfecting your craft in order to get to a place where you can write those really hard to execute scripts.